In a previous video, we covered the callout tool basics, but in addition to placing standard callouts, design series users can also use the callout tool to create keynotes and a keynote legend. To place a keynote, select the callout tool and click the callout tool preferences button in the toolbar. Then, click the option Place as Keynote. When placed, the keynote will be assigned to the selected legend from the Keynote Legend drop-down menu. Since this is the first keynote we are placing, the only option available is Default, which is the legend located on the current layer. As you create more legends, they will be shown in this list. If you want to add a prefix or suffix to the keynote, you can also add that here, or it can be added after placement from the Object Info palette. When the first keynote is created, a keynote legend is automatically created and placed on the layer as well. Although you always have the option to use callouts or keynotes for annotating your drawing, keynotes are especially useful when there are multiple instances of the same note, as is the case here. In this case, using keynotes makes the drawing less cluttered, but the real advantage is if I should need to make a change to note number 1, I only have to make the change in the keynote legend. Since the keynotes all reference back to this legend, they will be updated automatically. If these were callouts, each one would need to be changed individually. All other parameters for the keynotes can be edited from the Object Info palette. These parameters were covered in the video using the callout tool basics. Please check out this video if you're unsure how to use these parameters. You can also edit the keynote legend from the Object Info palette. Let's take a closer look at these options. First, the rotation field lets you set a rotation angle based on the top left corner of the legend. Next, use the Update button to refresh the keynote legend display. You can also change the title of your keynote legend from this title field. The Keynote Display drop-down menu lets you choose from several different display formats for the legend. The formats are numbers, letters, numbers or letters with prefix and/or suffix, if you entered any in the callout preferences. And the last format option is Use Description Text from the Notes database. Once you have the format set, you can also set other dimensions for the keynote legend, like the overall width and the note text indent, which is the distance from the numbering to the legend's body text. The note spacing field sets the width of the body of the legend text. The line spacing sets the vertical distance between the keynotes. Additionally, if you don't want one long column, you can set up to 4 columns for any keynote legend. The gutter width field can be used to set the distance between your columns in the keynote legend. The option Break Note Text Across Columns, when more than one column is used, the body text breaks across those different columns. If deselected, the body of text will not break across the columns. Next, Bubble Display lets you set how bubbles will display for a keynote's numbers or letters. You can choose none, per callout, in which case the same bubble style from the keynote is used, or per keynote legend, which is controlled from the bubble style drop-down menu below. If you choose rounded rectangle as your bubble style, you can use the field below to set the radius for the corners of the rectangles. The text margin field sets the distance between the bubble and the text. Also, the bubble shadow option adds a shadow to the bubble styles, except for none, bracket, and ISO bubble styles. At the bottom of the Object Info palette, the Edit Notes button lets you edit the list of keynotes or access the Notes database, which we'll cover in another video. The last 2 buttons, as expected, let you set the text formatting for the keynote legend, title, and body. And that's it. Remember, you can always use these callouts or keynotes for annotating, and it's up to you. but Keynotes are more useful for duplicate notes and quicker editing of those notes.